$10.99, ladies. The Apex Carry chapter. Hey everybody, let me introduce Jennifer. Action.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Mecham, and I am a consultant with the Bob Proctor's company, the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I own my own company now, Elevated Thinking with the Coal Miner's Daughter. And I will get into my story as the coal miner's daughter to begin with. So how did I get into this? So I grew up, as you can imagine, not a lot of money in the house, being a daughter of a coal miner in Utah. And my parents just really struggled financially for their entire lives. My dad worked in the coal mines his entire adult life, but when he was off work, he was out looking for gold in the mountains of Utah. That was what he did for his spare time, and he always thought he was going to strike it rich in the mountains with gold, finding gold, and that's what that was our life, living with the mountain man. And he never did strike it rich in the mountains, but it was actually my mom that introduced him to the film The Secret. I don't know if you are familiar with that film, but it came out about 2006, and my dad was not someone who actually watched films much. He was a mountain man, so but when he saw this, it hit him so hard that he realized something. And that film introduced him to the power of your mind to create the world that you want. The gold mine is actually your mind. And he gave all of us kids, or 6 of us, a copy of the film The Secret. And he just said, you want to teach your kids this, you want to really get into this. And at the time I saw it, I thought, this sounds nice, but I kind of it sounded like fluff at the time, and so I just kind of set it aside and moved on with life. And I'd done what I thought, what everyone told me was how I could make it in life. Go to school, go to college, got my bachelor's, got my master's, was doing what I thought would get me ahead. And I moved out here from Utah to North Carolina to pursue my passion in history, teaching. And I got veered off course because somebody said something to me that I believed. And so I moved into a different field. I just accepted that belief and I moved away from it. Instead of just questioning it and thinking, no, she's probably right. So I moved into another field, into the healthcare sector. And I just rolled with that. It wasn't my preferred choice. I did have good times and enjoyed my time there, but it wasn't until actually COVID hit that everything stopped. I married young, 19, to someone I'd only known 3 months before he proposed, because that's Utah. And I just knew everything I was doing was just not right. And so when COVID hit, my whole life stopped. Taking the kids, get up, go to school, the routine. It all stopped. Just the kids, work, school activities, kids, work, school activities. And when that all stopped, I just had to say, it is time. If I don't make these changes now, I'm never going to make these changes. So there it was, that film, The Secret. It was just there, the DVD. And I popped it in this time, and this time I really watched it, and it led me to start doing some research on all the teachers in that film. And I was drawn to Bob Proctor because he'd been doing this the longest, and his story was fascinating to me. Well, all of their stories are fascinating. Are you familiar with that?
Only the trailer. You said I watched that, yes.
Oh, okay. That's not the film The Secret, but it's just a story about his life. But he was featured in the film The Secret. His story is that he was born during the Depression, and he grew up very poor himself. He was actually kicked out of high school when he was only 2 months into school, high school. He was kicked out, and he just bounced around for 10 years, couldn't keep a job. It wasn't until one of the most well-known, well-established, financially independent people in the community in Toronto, pulled him aside one day and said, "You've got to be the most miserable person I've ever met." He's like, "Your way's not working. How about you take some lessons? How about you try my way?" And so he gave him a copy of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Are you familiar with that? Okay. So Bob had never listened, never taken advice from anyone up to that point. In fact, he did not like being told what to do. But for some reason, and he said he was just probably just tired of being broke. He never had any money. He was always borrowing money. He was $6,000 in debt and was only making $4,000 at the time. This is 1961. So he asked him, how do I do it? I've got no education. I have no business experience. And someone told him there was good money in cleaning. So he opened a cleaning business. He borrowed about $1,000 and opened a cleaning business. But yes, at the time he was only making $4,000 a year in 1961. He owed $6,000 a year. And with this material, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and with the mentorship of this man who introduced it to him, he went from earning $4,000 a year to $175,000 that year in 1961. The end of the year, he made that much money. And then within a couple years later, he'd grown to over $1 million. And today's, that's over $10 million. So by now he branched all over. He had offices in the UK and the US and Canada, and then he just stopped one day and asked, how did this all happen? How did this all happen? Here he's a very wealthy individual, and how did it happen so fast? So he started giving people a copy of the book, thinking that was it. And but it wasn't changing people the way it changed him. He also wondered why other people in the cleaning business were not getting the same results that he did. So he wanted to find out why him. So he decided to offload his company and go work for Earl Nightingale, who was mentored by Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich. And this was in Chicago. So he moved there and took a job in their sales department, only making $18,000 a year. He gave up all of his millions to do this. He wanted to learn. And it took him 10 years to find out why he changed, why it worked for him. And it was his journey of 10 years of working with some of the world's biggest businessmen and psychologists. And then it was a concept that hit him, and it was this concept here. And Bob calls this the stick person. It was actually created by a doctor in 1934, the same year that Bob was born. And this an image. And